Mhm.
Welcome to the Journey of Riches interview series with the authors. I'm here with Emily Moon, and she's a higher connection guide. And also, you do channeling, trans channeling, that sort of thing. You channel like a collective consciousness, kind of like a Esther Hicks, and you're able to actually get messages of higher frequency, higher consciousness, and you can guide people through like their roadblocks. If they're developing their spirituality, you can help them go deeper into themselves and just really know thyself. I feel is what you help people be more authentic to their true essence and what their heart spirit really came here to do, and how they can navigate challenges. Oh my God, how did you do that? Like,
How did you just do that? I'm
what,
like, wow, this is
what
beautiful.
do you want to do when you leave school, Emily? I want to be
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it was never part of what I thought was the plan, right? But we never,
Yeah, 100%.
that's the whole thing of this life is the magical unfolding and the journey of the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so powerful, the journey of the unknown. And yeah, I guess, a lot of times are, learning to unadult or to let that childlike curiosity come out and play and not take things so seriously. And I feel that that's been a really part of your evolution. And certainly you shared aspects of that in building self-confidence. And I find building self-confidence was a title to draw everyone in because, like, oh, I can kind of relate to that, but the book just goes so much deeper into concepts of self that maybe people don't realize, if they just, oh, you're building self-confidence, what does that to do with spirituality or higher consciousness? And I feel our book does go quite deep in certain aspects, and you certainly led the way with that. So how did you discover that you could become a channeler?
Oh wow, that was a journey in itself. And also kind of um piggybacking off what you said about, the building self-confidence and thinking, oh, it's this one thing, but then when, readers dive into the book, it's like, oh wow, it's almost like the book holds codes for through the stories, through the vibration of allowing one to tap into more of their inner essence. And through this journey of really, I feel like all of the beautiful stories of our collective in the book were, so much about tapping into this inner being, coming into more of who I truly am. And then from that place, allowing the confidence to be felt, to be experienced versus it being something totally external or an accomplishment or an achievement or the things that maybe society thinks that's where the confidence comes from. Like in my journey, it was like had nothing to do. It was more of like letting go of all of that and seeing,
That's
it was like
profound.
peeling,
Yeah.
yeah, like peeling these layers of what I thought to be who I was. And it was like getting to the heart of who I am as a being here on earth, as a soul. And then from that place, so much love was felt for myself, for my journey, for our human family. And from there, that's where the confidence just like, you know. Um, but yeah, that's a whole nother
Well,
story.
no, that's so, I mean, you just jumped straight into it, which is perfect. And like it's the authenticity that comes, with having a deep, because there's many different types of confidence, right? And I feel like in different times in my life, I felt like I demonstrated different levels of confidence, and it was more like, for me, a discovery of what it isn't. You know what I mean? Okay, this isn't real self-confidence. This isn't authentic confidence. I did all the
Mm,
things that weren't that to discover
mm,
that. It was almost like, okay, I've tried everything else. How about, I just, be who I am and speak my truth and hold faith and trust and belief in that. And I feel like I just all the different other forms of confidence I experienced wasn't exactly what I was looking for, and I had a void in my life when I had that, like say bravado confidence, or more almost borderline arrogance at different times in my life, and now knowing the difference of when I may be still doing that to a little degree, but when I'm really speaking my truth and in my center, that's where it really feels like the self-confidence that it's available to all of us.
Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah, I feel like, on my journey too, it was this in my chapter I talk about a big spiritual awakening that I experienced in 2016, which was part of this catalyst.
Yeah,
But a lot of my journey prior to that was like seeking the external validation,
yeah,
or even like I had journeys with drugs and alcohol, and thinking
yes,
that was gonna help me to feel, and it did. Like at the time, I was like, oh yeah, this helps me to feel more but it wasn't. It was like this the false, almost like a cloak. Like it wasn't the true me. It was like this escapism from really what was inside of me that was just like screaming to be seen for so long, and like you were mentioning before about, the inner child, connecting with our inner child, that's the part of us that's like, see me, experience
yeah,
the joy, experience me and see what happens in your life, because I know on my journey that has helped me, like you were saying, like, and you as well, like it's helped us to really step into what what excites us the most, and and that for me allows the confidence to come through, because if I'm excited about it and I'm stoked about something, it's just there, like the confidence just kind of comes because I'm excited about it, um, but yeah, it's beautiful what you just said as well.
yeah. It bubbles up, and it's almost like a well, and you don't have to force it or control it. It's natural, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
and also to answer your question about how did I come into channeling, like where did that all come from? So
nice.
obviously that was a part of my inner child coming out too, because it excites me.
Yeah,
But yeah,
cool.
it was quite a
Yeah,
journey, kind of. I mean, I ever since my awakening, I was always drawn to channeled messages. Like
yeah.
from that moment, like when I had that sudden, I mean, it happened over a course of a few weeks, but like that time, so many channelers were coming into my field, that I would find online. Like you mentioned, Abraham Hicks and things like this, and just the truth. I just felt the truth. I was like,
Mm,
oh my gosh, this is truth to me. And I don't care, necessarily who's speaking it. It doesn't matter. It's just, oh my God, I'm receiving this truth. And
yeah.
and then in 2022, I had an experience where I was in a group setting, and there it was on the island of Oahu where I lived. And
Okay.
yeah, and so there was like 15 of us women that were gathering, and we were in this
Mhm.
really sacred space that we'd all co-created together. And we were going around the circle and sharing a song, or sharing, um, even someone played an instrument, or someone may have just said something beautiful. We just went around and just shared something. And when it
Uh-huh.
got to me, and I never had this happen before, I felt sometimes when I was in circle, and sometimes it can still happen. Like when we're in circles, we get a little nervous, right? Like oh, it's my turn to share soon. I didn't feel that at all.
Sure.
I didn't feel that
Uh-huh.
at all. All I felt was like the purest warmth energy in my body, just from
Yeah.
toe to head, just throughout my whole body.
Yeah.
And I was so calm, and I started to channel. And
Wow.
I didn't I didn't it was just I remember when it was like I just looked around at each, and I just saw each beautiful being as their highest soul expression, and then this warmth came through, and then this channeled message came through. And that had never happened before. And it was verbal, it was just this verbal channeling that came through. And it was yeah, it was so beautiful. beautiful. It was, yeah, so it was about like 15 minutes of this verbal channeling that came through. And at the end, and it was just continuous, you know, and it was mostly about the journey and being easy with ourselves.
Yeah.
And even I remember this so distinctly because when I channel, I'm there, I'm present. It's not like I'm allowing, it's like I am here. I'm just holding the frequency for whatever is coming through me to be shared. Yeah. And so I'm aware, I'm just just being here, right? And during that channel, I remember distinctly the message of referring our journeys to um uh like gestation, like as a woman, like carrying an infant, like, okay, so you have this climax moment, right? And then there's this, like the whole process, it takes 9 months.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
yeah.
just like it happens and then boom, the baby's here. There's a
The
preparation.
birthing process.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a building process.
Stages of development.
Right. There's like this, okay, navigating the new waters. Okay, now that I have this, it was a beautiful message. I just remember it so distinctly. And so, but the message was like, it's okay, like slow down, allow the process to be what it is, and so that was so
Good.
beautiful. But at the time I was like, what's going, I was like, wow, what is,
Yeah,
as
that's
it's
so
coming through, I'm like,
cool.
wow. And
Yeah,
then
I
at the
appreciate you just let go and allow it to come through you. And that's really a deep, authentic form of self-confidence is that ability just to let go, trust, even though it might be like, oh my God, I don't really, know where this is going. And it's kind of nerve-wracking and frightening, but it's also exciting and exhilarating. And I'm just going to go with the exhilarating part. That's kind of like what I felt from your explanation, or when I've seen channelers channel, yeah, so cool. And I watched a documentary called Channelers, and just their sense of like, I don't know, authenticity and belief in themselves, and just to let go and just to have that calling to just keep doing it and keep doing it, and almost as if they were chosen, that was just part of their mission and to serve, and it was like just this gift that came to them. And phenomenal. It's called The Channelers. It's an American documentary. I think you can get it on all the streaming platforms, but it's amazing. So you got Bashir. That was one of his early days of being in a movie and a
it
film,
was a
and
huge part
of
of my
course,
journey.
yeah, and of course got a special on right now on Gaia, and his whole thing about, well, actually, not only do I know their entities from other galaxies, but I can actually take and explain their world. That's my level of connection and communication with these beings. It's phenomenal,
Yeah.
and I feel the truth when he talks, and just his energy and resonance. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Unreal. That's so
And and
cool.
and also like oh, there's so much coming through. Also, what you were just saying about how like this kind of getting out of the way, um when that experience happened, which by the way, at the end of it, I did a full on, this is a soul expression I hadn't had come through yet. I did a full on light language attunement around the circle for each beautiful soul. It was like this, this, all of this light language came through directed to each beautiful soul. And I didn't know what was happening, but I knew after, I realized after, oh, these were energetic attunements, um,
Uh-huh.
this higher frequency that was
That's
coming
so
through.
awesome.
But what ended up happening after that, I had the women, some of the women didn't know me, some of them did, and some of them that knew me were like, wow, like what, wow, like this was amazing. And I'm honored to witness this expression of you because none of us had that, seen that from me or experienced it. And then the others that didn't know me, of course, just may have thought, oh, this is something she does all the time. So after that happened, I really had to process and I kind of put it to the side.
Mhm.
Because I didn't know, I was like, wow, that was a beautiful soul expression, but I don't know what to do with it. Like, what do I do with it, Because
Yeah.
it was like I'd never taken a class. Didn't know, I had to really process. And then eventually, I got out of my own way because it was this like, what if people judge me?
Mm.
What if clients don't want to work with me because it's different, or so I had to really allow myself to go through that more of like, okay, you know who you are, you can do this. And that was part of also that confidence as well, if you want to call it confidence, just really allowing the authenticity of who I am as a soul on earth to fully shine its essence, you know. But that took
Almost
me.
like a knowingness, like it's not a belief, it's this knowingness. We just know in every core of your being that this is right, this is the next step. So
Yeah.
it's
And I
unmistakable, undeniable. Like you just in the core of essence of who you are, that's the path, that's the way, that's the decision, that's the choice.
Yeah, and I think so many of us, that's what we're faced with. Like, okay, do I want to be my authentic self? Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, but it does require courage.
Mm.
And at the same time, like, there's this, once we move through that, it's like a template, a story for the human, because it's the human that gets nervous. It's not, I mean, the soul is like, let's go. And the
Oh yeah,
human, the
yeah.
human body, I mean, we have stories, we have belief systems that are so ingrained. You can't do that. That's weird. Or, like voices from others that aren't our voices. And maybe they are our voices too, and that we've taken on. But there
Yeah.
is this process of going beyond that. And that's the stepping into courage. That's the story of confidence. That is the story of I can do anything. And once we start doing that and we build, and it doesn't have to be anything big, but like once we continuously choose ourself and our belief in self, it builds and builds and it becomes easier. And I'm speaking from experience as someone that would never have done the things that I've done, where I would have stayed back and stayed small and be like, no, I can't say that. I can't do that. I can't be this. I can't leave my marriage. All these things. It took that. Okay, I did the one thing. Oh my gosh, I can do more. And then, another circumstance or experience would come up. Oh, I can do I went through that. That was like so much suffering to get where I am. So I think the more that it's within ourselves and the story that we can continuously tell ourselves and our inner child too, of like, Emily, you have come so far. Keep going. Keep choosing you. Don't play small. Don't play small. Shine, like you were saying, your authenticity. It's so important on this path that we are who we are. And at a soul level, we know when we feel that authenticity and that we're living from that place. And that's your soul. That's your inner being that's really coming through. And we all know that feeling at some level. We all know that
Mm.
feeling, of that pure love. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think, did you ever like Dr. David Hawkins? He wrote the book Power versus Force, and he's the
Mm.
Hawkings conscious level of scale of consciousness. So I think it's like shame, fear, and guilt's like minus 100 or something like that, or 100 or whatever it is, and then you go up this sliding scale. So I think the highest is like enlightenment, then you have peace, then I think it's joy, then it's like I don't think authenticity is on there, but then I think it goes like love is like four or fifth down on the scale. And it's like,
We
what,
can
really?
we'll
Wow.
add in
Like,
the authenticity. We'll shift that, add
yeah,
that in.
yeah, yeah.
Anything's possible. Look, excuse me. We have a suggestion. Excuse me, Mr. Hawkins.
Can we put this on your sliding scale?
We know. We know.
What instruments are you using exactly?
We know you wrote the book, but like we're just gonna slide this.
Authenticity. Come on, there is room for you. Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
sorry, keep
good.
going. Keep saying.
Yeah. We'll, we'll just add that in there for you, if you don't mind, good sir. Yeah, but it's so so good to laugh. It's so funny. But yeah, I feel that there are very valuable insights in terms of like, you know, your own authenticity and what you let go of and what you invite and bring in and what you needed to let go of to get there. And I feel that that's, yeah, it's just part of the journey, you know. Such a beautiful gift. You know, there's a gift in there's, you know, hardship can be such a gift. You know, adversity can be such a gift. You know, it really is a privilege to have those elements in our life. And I find that when aspects of my journey where I was like more seeking comfort, ease, and effortless, and just almost like an addiction, that my resilient muscle wasn't as strong, and it was easy for me to get off skelter, you know, and just sort of like, oh my God, like that's, whereas really it's not that big of a deal. And I found the more that I just um, looked for things that like challenged me or got out of my comfort zone, or then I that resilience muscle, you know, it was much easier for say when my dad passed away and transition to actually calibrate even when I was hurting, and it was like it felt like such a loss before I was able to transmute that meaning. You know, part of my heart was missing. And I feel that having that base and that level of groundedness and a strong resilience muscle of like challenging myself, get outside of my comfort zone, then it was much easier to handle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so beautiful because it is like this, yeah, you're building the muscle.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
continuously building that muscle of instead of, I don't want to say like playing safe, but
Yeah.
yeah, you allowed yourself to move beyond that reality and say, no,
And I
I can
think,
actually handle, I can do this. Yeah.
yeah. I think that that's what you were talking about when you were saying, well, I left the marriage, I left this career that I knew, I left this whole identity of who I thought I was behind, you know, and I feel that that really strengthens you, and that level of, you know, resilience of, you know, change and, you know, and who am I? And, you know, and once you really develop that level of certainty within yourself and your own beingness, and knowing standing in your truth doesn't matter where you are, then I mean that's that's courageous. I mean that, you know, you takes a lot to do that, you know, and a certain level of resilience.
Yeah, I'm
It does
feeling
that.
like all I'm hearing is like unstoppable force. And then I'm like
Yeah.
seeing above unstoppable force.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm feeling that within our entire collective. Like, you know what I mean? What you just said, what I just said, these are stories that are within our whole collective, you know, are,
Mm,
of those that are on this path that have chosen this way, that have said, oh, wait, there's another way to experience life. And I want to know who I am, you know,
yeah.
and to step into that reality. Whew, that is a powerful force. That is an unstoppable force of love within yourself, because the status quo and what humanity, what we've been raised in and taught to be, that's to stay on that path. That's the easy path. I mean, you know what I mean? Just to stay in the comfort zone, but to move into a whole different reality of seeking the answers, of wanting to know self more, of being open to a whole new reality, that
Going
takes
against the grain. Yeah.
going against the grain, going against
Looking
society.
when
I
they
don't want to say
drag.
it's,
Yeah.
I also don't want to say it's not easy, because it can be super easy.
Yeah,
Um,
true, right. Right,
right?
100%. Well said, well
Right?
said. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, a lot of times it can be difficult because we are still holding on. But then when we let go, as we're
Preaching.
saying,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
I
know,
think it's so important to challenge yourself and be your own experiment and look for new things and just find and also find things that are your joy centers, you know, that just bring you so much joy and happiness and peace and present moment, you know. It's not so often in the status quo, it can be very stressful. You know, from stress that makes you sick, you know, rather than this type of stress that and the challenge and the hardship of, going against the norm or just following your truth, that isn't easy. It is hard, but it's a hard that grows you and shapes you, and it's actually good for you. It doesn't
Yeah.
kill you. It kills an aspect of you that's no longer serving, your future self. And so that can be painful, but if staying the same, that's the hardship and the stress that kills you. It doesn't grow you. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I love it, John. Yeah,
True or
because
not? That's how it felt for me.
yeah, oh my gosh, I know. Like I so see you. I know this journey is like, oh, yeah, it's a wild ride. It's a
It
wild ride.
is.
And again, it's this I just keep hearing it's like this force field of energy of love that just like perpetuates us forward, like I in the background of it all is like this essence of love that literally is like you can do it. You're here for big things. You're here to shine your light. You're here to be yourself. You're here at it as a soul on earth to experience itself in a physical reality is is such a gift, And there was something else that you were saying that really touched me. Um, yeah, I'll come back to it, but yeah, I think there's this yeah, these when we're able to step forward more and more and more, it's all coming from here, from our heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much of the journey.
Yeah.
And yes, there can be very challenging times. I almost feel like it's like an integration,
Mm.
I know I talk about like letting go a lot, but it's also this integration of the former versions of self integrating into the consciousness or where we're operating at now. So we're able to kind of bring that part of ourself that the like outgrown version of self into this now version of self. Almost like a hand, like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. And it's like we're our present self now is like holding that hand to that part of us and bringing that part of us into our heart to say, I got you. Like that's what it feels. It's like this
Yeah.
integration. It is a letting go because we are letting go and we're shedding, but we're also integrating that part, a beautiful part of us that was scared, that didn't know, that didn't have the level of consciousness, that wasn't connected to more,
You're
and now
right.
and bring that part of us here and like I almost feel like I effing got you. Like, no games, like I have you. Yeah.
That's cool. That's super cool. And I feel that it's available for everyone. And I feel like our collective stories, different perspectives of that, different layers. And I feel like yours goes really deep into that. And was it difficult to write, or was there times where it was difficult, or it just seemed to like once you got into a thread, it was like pretty quick?
Hmm. Well, first of all, I'll say that writing a book or being a part of writing a book has been a soul dream of mine.
Uh,
So to have said no, like when you reached out to me, if I had said no, I would have been denying my soul's dream come to life. Even though it was like, I was like, when you had reached out, I was like, is this? And it was like, you're not going to deny the love for yourself. Say yes. And so I know it took me like a little bit. I had to sit with it.
yeah, did you sit back actually? Because we chatted first. We had
Yeah.
a real long chat, and then it's like I just want to step back. I'm feeling it's a no, but it could be a yes. I just want to give that space. But you
Yeah.
think it's probably more of a no. And I was like, okay, no worry. Yeah, yeah, like all good. And then you came back. It's like, you know what? I want to do this. I think I can do
That's
this.
what happened.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
happened is that I was,
yeah.
I sat with it, which was beautiful for me because I had to
Yes.
kind it was like a retraining for the human too of like, you can do it's again, this like
Yeah, yeah,
confidence building it. Like you can do this. You've never written a book before, but this is a soul dream. This is my soul was basically like, all I was, when I really tapped in and had that time with myself, it was just like, yes, 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 like, what, there is no no, like, yes, this is a yes. And so, um, also that's another reminder to people too, is that like, if you need to sit with something, sit with it. You know what I mean? Really allow yourself to
100%.
experience it too. And then that even experience of sitting with someone and coming into the clarity, is very expansive. Because I know a lot of times, teachers and things will say, well, it's, what is your intuition, or your gut? What is your initial reaction? Well, that initial reaction could actually be fear, you know? So
True,
I,
100%.
or
That,
like limiting
that's for
beliefs. Because,
myself. Yeah.
yeah, because my initial reaction, that was a limiting belief of my own, of like, potentially, like, why would I say no? That's so weird. Like after sitting there, like, what is going on? Uh,
Oh God.
you know what I mean? But I think it's a good
Yeah,
reminder for us
totally.
too,
Totally.
is that
Yeah.
sometimes it does take the sitting back to, okay, I see that reaction, and wait, what's really coming through as the truth,
Mhm.
and that's what came through. But yeah. And as far as writing, yeah, I'm trying to, it was a while ago, yeah. I'm trying to think
What
back.
was that? Last year, yeah, no, maybe like
Yeah.
October, September, October.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe early September. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I began writing, a big part of what came through was like, I my soul essence, my true authenticity was like sharing part of my spiritual awakening, because
Yeah.
that to me was the story that has been wanted to be shared. Um and And so that was coming through really, really, really strong. And so I was like, well, guide me on how to merge this into all of, building self-confidence. Cause I didn't really know where that was going to take me. I just
Mhm.
kind of, when I started on that journey of writing about that. And then I realized, like, as I was writing that chapter, we're like, that's where all of my confidence was coming from. This Emily version now was through my awakening, which again is just tuning into your heart, is coming back to your soul essence, is remembering who you are, um, and the love for myself and my journey. That was the biggest catalyst to me stepping into, um, confidence, was the love for myself. Because prior to my spiritual awakening time, I was so far from that. I was so far from
Yeah.
unconditionally loving myself. I mean, I judged my body all the time. I was really hard on myself, like, so hard on myself. And I know I'm getting kind of emotional, because I'm like, I can feel that essence of Emily, that, like, just a moment.
Yeah.
um that suffered. Like, she just suffered so much. And couldn't see, it's just like these blinders were on all the time of like, well, I can just do more. I can just, I was depressed for like 10 years plus, um, on and off antidepressants and these anti-anxiety medications, and not, it was so disconnected, um, at from the truth of who I am, and even before that too, I had had, a near death experience where I broke both of my arms. I lost my vision in one of my eyes for a long time. We didn't know if I was going to get it back. And just had all of, these injuries that happened to me, that kind of put me into, from that was in my really early 20s. From that state, I was like, that could have been my awakening. That could have been my spiritual awakening moment. It was like, I feel like that was kind of the beginning, because from that point, I was like, I know I'm here for something greater. I know that I was saved from that experience for something much, much, much greater. And I went through these things to allow myself to realize that, and um and also have so much compassion and empathy for our collective. And through that experience, yeah, that was like, it could have been the great awakening within myself. It was the beginning. I chose to stay in the density a little bit longer. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
the
Me too.
density.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play a little bit longer, even though like during my near-death experience, I connected with Yeshua, with Jesus.
yeah.
And so I knew like I have guides with me. Like I knew at that point, I was like, there's something higher happening here.
Mm.
But I still wanted to play in the density. I still wanted to, have the things that I still wanted to play on that path of the society path, which I did. Um, but yeah, then when but I was still using all the external things to make me feel good and to say, oh, this will make me feel confident or this will make me feel good or whatever. But it was so superficial and it was so surfacey. It wasn't in there. And then yeah, it was when I awakened to who I am, when I was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, like I am the most beautiful being in the whole world. I mean, really, I feel this so deep, but I'm feeling this for everybody. Like, wow, like the love that we have as souls to come into density, to have this experience to rise into the truth of who we are, into our authenticity of who we are as souls on earth is huge. And it takes powerful beings to say yes to this journey, to say yes to being able to transcending the density into the rising of consciousness within ourselves and within all of us as one. And it's a continuous evolution. I mean, I'm still navigating some things, it's like we're always up
yeah,
leveling and we're never going back. Even if we think that we're going back to something, we're not because we're at a different level of consciousness where we're able to take the hand of that old version of self and bring him here and say, I got you now. You don't have to be afraid of that. Like, I got you. Oh, wait, we're rising more. Oh, okay. Okay. So it's a continuous evolution that we're all
yeah,
on. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
That's cool. Yeah, I love that evolution, and I don't feel like at like a deeper part of ourselves, like we don't want it to be like not the challenges to stop and things like that. And I find that it's the more that you know yourself, and at least from my experience, the more I'm able to find the center. It doesn't matter like what's really happening around that. I bring that peace, or I'm really have a sense of groundedness. And so, I feel like the analogy in like Buddhism is that you're the center of the wheel, and doesn't matter what's happening up or down, or you're in the center. And so it doesn't, if you're in an up cycle or a down cycle, there's a gift in everything. And
Yeah. So beautiful.
such a privilege to be here.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for you, John. Like
Thank you. Likewise.
um I just so see you and I just so honor you and I really honor your own journey of stepping to the truth of who you are and being that and being that way shower for others of what is possible. I don't really know all your story, but I can feel it so deeply and it's um there's just a huge celebration around you. Yeah.
I
Like
feel it.
really.
I feel it. Yeah, it's so cool. And yeah, I appreciate your trust, with your chapter. And that's, yeah, I don't take that lightly. It was awesome, and yeah. I mean, just to think that if you didn't make that decision to like take that leap of faith, where would you be, Oh my God, you ever think like, oh my God, if I didn't make that decision, like, where would I be? What would I be
Oh, you
doing?
mean
What
like,
would my life have been like if I didn't, leave that career, or that marriage that wasn't
oh,
working, or you know what I mean? If you had stayed there, what would that version of Emily be like?
yeah, I think it's even like challenging to tap into that because it's not even a reality that um, that
Well,
wanted to
maybe
express.
there is that version somewhere because, quantum physics says that everything is happening now. And so there's
Mm.
different defining points of our decisions. Maybe there is an Emily in a parallel reality that did decide to stay in that, relationship, that career. And yeah.
Yeah, and I totally like I feel that as well, and it's like, um, yes, that exists at the same time,
Yeah.
and then how can we focus on the reality that we are here to truly live? Because
Mm,
that version of self is in a dimensional reality, like if we talk about dimensions, right? That's a
hmm
dimensional reality that exists.
hmm
And so if we're focused on the dimensional reality that we're in now, it's like so much is able to be expressed through us from this state of consciousness. And it is this journey through dimensions. It is a journey through consciousness. Like as you were just saying, these multiple, quantum physics is exactly how I feel too. It's we talk about the density earlier too. It's like these different dimensional realities hold different uh, dimensional realities are expressed and experienced through various levels of consciousness. So
hmm
depending on where we are, there's a different dimensional reality that is experienced in a different perspective. You can have two people, and this is interesting because I could have the old version of me and the version of me right now in the state of consciousness where I am now having one experience. And the experience would be completely different for both of us because the density and the dimensional reality that Emily was in with the lower states of consciousness, which were beautiful. They're like
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely beautiful journey. Like I look to
yes.
that dimensional reality and that version of Emily, and I'm just like in awe. I'm in awe of what she went through and awe of what she was able to navigate with where she was. But if I were to take her and to take me now at the levels of consciousness and the dimensional realities and have one experience play out, it would be completely different for both of
Yeah.
us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because the
totally.
because the perspective that I have now is everything's a gift. There's
Yeah.
You can say, yes, there's challenging times, but I also co-created that in order for myself to expand. So to see the gift in, um, I think that's the big difference is to really see the gift and the blessing of whatever is unfolding in the reality, as I think you alluded to earlier, is like everything's a gift for us. Everything is here for us. Whereas the old version of myself wouldn't have seen that. I would have seen victimhood. I would have seen, why is this happening to me? What have I done wrong? Um, just all of these denser vibrations where anything that happens is like, okay, where's the gift? If the challenging thing comes up or there's something I'm navigating through, like, okay, there's a gift here. And to see that higher perspective, right? So,
That's completely different reality. It's a completely different shift.
and it's
And
beautiful. It's
yeah.
beautiful to look back, and I'm sure you can look back at yourself in the other dimensional reality of of the victim of the masses why is this happening to me? That sort of energy, and have so much empathy and so much compassion for that part of
Yeah.
ourselves, because that part of ourselves is doing the best, just like our going back to like our parents and our grandparents, they're doing the best that they could with the level of consciousness and dimensional reality that they were living from. And and that's the same with my journey. In all of our journeys is that like we're doing the best that we could with what we had with that level of consciousness and where we are operating from, and just the compassion. And I think for my journey is bringing that into the collective, our whole human collective, and to say none of that matters what he, she, it is doing. That is their own chosen journey of their whatever they're navigating through, whatever dimensional reality and level of the consciousness that they're operating in. It doesn't affect me, but I have so much
hmm
compassion for where they are because, man, I have been there. I have been in the depths of that suffering. I've been there, And so I think when we can kind of step back, if we're looking at someone that's, oh, they're doing this or this, I don't like that they're even, family members or political people, like take a step back. Like, wow, that could have been an old version of me that now I'm being mad at that person for, but I would never get mad at me. Like, if we were to think about it, I would never want to punch myself. Like, oh, I can't even go there. It's like, I have so much compassion for that part of Emily. I mean, she
Yeah.
tried the best that she could. Like, man, she made some really crazy decisions, but like, I love you. And so if we can bring that
Yeah.
into our human collective as one family and say, I may not understand, but I love you because I've been there too. I've been in the depths of whatever you may be navigating levels of consciousness that just are really dense right now, and that's okay, And I think the more that we can bring the love and the compassion to first ourselves, like that's where it all begins. Bring that love to self. It
Yeah.
literally, and in my experience, I come to tears of just like honor, like let's honor our whole collective. Like we are one family. But it starts here. It starts with having compassion for self. Yeah. And then feeling that for everybody else. Yeah.
That is just, yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It reminds me of, the Beatles song with John Lennon, Imagine, Imagine. And he's just speaking this incredible reality. And I find that, yeah, the more people that can sit in that truth that you describe, and yeah, you're just such a way shower in, the way that you be, and every interaction I have from you, yeah, I feel like I vibrate on a different level afterwards. Like it's just really cool to connect in with your sense of, reality, and, our mission here on Earth, and what you stand for. And yeah, you really are a beacon of truth for so many, and, a warm fire, that, yeah, I hope more people get to experience. And I feel like your chapter's just a little insight to, what you do, and what you've transformed from, what reality, and where you are now, and where you're heading, and what that means. And I feel that your chapter's a really good representation of that. And if there's someone that was lost, or, kind of knew the way they were going to need to go, but just terrifies them, yeah, being around your warmth and, vibration and frequency will be just what they need.
Oh, thank you, John. I feel that. Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. How do people get in contact with you? How can people connect?
Yeah, so I would say the best way would probably be email.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
so I can share my email and
Okay. Cool.
also
We can put it in the links below. Yeah.
okay. And then also my email newsletter. It's so fun. It's such a powerful, it's a portal space that I was guided to create years ago. And I
Mhm.
send out like monthly email channeled messages for the collective. Sometimes bi-monthly, just depends on what the energy is. But
Okay.
that's where I
Yeah.
also share all of my offerings, all of my in-person or online workshops and events and retreats. I also hold retreats throughout the
Yeah.
year, which is really fun and playful,
Yeah.
uh, and super deep to connect to our true essence more and more. But yeah, I'd say my email newsletters is a great way, and
Yeah, that sounds
and then
fun.
also I social media too. I'm on social media
Okay.
as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, we can add your handles. And yeah, I've actually seen some photos of you like doing a ceremony, and yeah, it looked really cool. And I imagine I can just see you like with the light language. And yeah, I remember the
yeah,
first time I experienced light language, it was such a wow, transformative experience. Because I felt like I was transported somewhere else, like my consciousness. It was like,
yeah.
oh my God, like what did I just think, touch? Kind of like my spirit felt like it touched something that was really cool and amazing and familiar. But yeah, just I couldn't put my finger quite on it. That makes sense. Yeah, I was like, wow, something really profound just happened, but I'm not really sure what it is just yet. But I
Yeah.
went
Well, and that
somewhere in that time. Yeah. Huh.
yeah, and that's just it, is that all of these tools,
Yeah.
we all know about meditation. We all know about yoga and
Yeah.
sound bath, sound healing.
Yeah.
What are some of the breath work, dance, light
Yeah.
language, reading books, it's like all of the support tools are showing up left and right. They're all here for us. Nature, that's
Oh
like
my.
we were talking about that earlier. That's like for me, that's like one of the number one tools for me to connect fast.
Yeah.
Question is, how do I connect more to my inner truth? How do I get there even more efficiently?
Yeah.
Go into nature. Like wherever
Oh,
you, if you can, like even if it is cold, like there's probably a tree nearby, or just getting outside into the remembrance of of who we are, that reflection, of the stillness, of the inner calm, of everything is happening without even having to do anything. Everything is thriving without having to do anything. Like all of that exists within ourselves. And so that's like one of the tools, nature. And also like I was sharing earlier about, the light language attunements that came through, like these are also just tools. They're just, and whoever resonates with whatever tool, it's like perfect. There's no tool better. Yoga's not better than anything else. And this thing's not better. It's like whatever resonates with your soul to remember, and those are going to shift too, like um one tool in the beginning for me when I first started my spiritual awakening was happening. I wasn't really knowing what was happening, didn't really
yeah.
know. Like yin yoga was one of the best things at that time for me, it helps my human. And now it's still I mean I'm a yin yoga and restorative yoga teacher as well, but
Instructor. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm a big
yeah.
fan of just holding the pose for,
Yeah.
2 minutes. 5 minutes can be pushing it, but definitely for two couple of minutes. Yeah.
But those tools that support us, and that was one of the biggest support tools on my journey, and it is still now, but not as much. You know what I mean? They shift and they change. Now the light language for my own journey too is like such a big support tool, which is basically just the language of the soul, and it can be in different dialects and different sounds, different tones that um that just come through us very naturally. And sometimes it can sound like like just, I don't say weird, but kind of different. It's like, wait, I've never heard that before. What is that? And and it's just the
Sounds like
language of the heart.
otherworldly. Yeah. It definitely has a deep resonance, like undeniable
Yeah.
feel is like at the core of my being. Like it's like, woo,
Yeah.
something shifted just, on those sounds. Like, and it happens so fast. It's rapid. That's been my
Yeah.
experience, at least anyway. So I was like, woof.
Yeah, and it's honestly like um it's really within us all. I really feel that because in some way, maybe it is through a tone, or something like
Is
that,
that what
but
you teach in your retreats as well? Like you teach light language so people can actually learn to channel
it's
that and
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up because it is something that's coming through that may want to be, that actually does want to be shared in some of
yes.
my gatherings or well, workshops or retreats, is helping people to connect with that soul expression of themselves. And it's fun. I think that's like the every time that I have the light language come through, it's the most joyous, fun experience, regardless of like, what is being, it's just like, oh, that feels
Yeah.
so good. And
Yeah.
also, it makes sense why the soul expression has come through in this way, in the channeling and the light language as of more recent, is because it brings me so much joy and
Mm.
expands me. So if it's like, let's go, because like, it's like it's so fun. Um, and that again, it expands me even more. So
Yeah, yeah, that's super cool. Super cool. Amazing. Yeah, it's so awesome. Just the journey that you've been on and yeah, what you've been through and where you're going. And I mean, you don't even like, you're kind of just uh, joyfully going with the divine flow, like merrily, merrily down the street. It's
Sometimes,
like,
sometimes there's
there goes
maybe there's like a little
Emily,
rock. Maybe there's like a
going
little
down.
rock in the way I have to like kind of like step over or like have a talk
Oh,
with,
well, yeah, that
go
adds to
around.
the adventure.
Exactly. So
Uh,
many flavors and textures. Yeah.
yeah, I like that. It's a great metaphor. To, what meaning are we giving things in our life? Are we saying, oh my God, this is, so in the way? If I didn't go through this, my life would be, so much better. But actually, those things are on the way, right? And that there's something to glean from them. Like there's, it's there's a reason behind it. There's a lesson, there's an understanding, there's something to really, get from that experience. It's not like, oh my God, what an inconvenience, or this feels so painful, or la 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 la. It's like, no, actually, this is for you. This is for you. This is on purpose. Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah, yeah.
again, that takes a different perspective, different set of eyes to see.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
And
may
sometimes, yeah. They
and may
yes,
our
sometimes it
words
just feels like, yeah.
Yeah, and may our words in this vibration that we're co-creating right now allow people to unlock that, whoever's listening or watching later or whatever, to like
Yes.
unlock more of that higher perspective to see the gifts that are here for us. Yeah, because we
Mm.
are embodying it and amplifying that frequency. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. That was a huge shift on my journey. Is like, oh my God, like actually this is for me. Like this is like something that I'm meant to go through, and experience fully. And yeah, obviously when I'm going through things like that, I don't always jump up and down and go, yippee. It does feel like a gift
Yeah.
wrapped in sandpaper, and it can leave a little
Yes.
bit of abrasion or some bruising, but
Yeah, don't we know?
oh
Yes.
my God.
Don't we
But
know?
then the expansion comes, and yeah, and you're so much better for it, and you don't
Yeah.
regret it. Like I needed to go through that, and I know why.
Yeah. And again, that's like to be to be there at that consciousness, like I don't know, I find there's so much courage in that because there's so many we could go into victimhood on anything and to
Mm,
say, "Oh no, 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 no. No, no. Okay. Okay, man, there's a bruise. There's something's happening here, but but I know like you were saying this is happening for me.
yeah,
It shifts everything. Yeah,
everything,
everything. Yeah.
everything. So why should people read your chapter? Why should people
Oh.
read Emily Moon?
I'm just hearing like light language coming through right now without even knowing to say it. She could
Let
do
it
it.
out, let it out. Yes.
Yeah, it's like this whole light language story being played out right now. Maybe I will share some light language in a little
Okay.
bit.
That'd
But to put it into words, but to share in words. Oh yeah, the light language is like um
It feels like you're teasing us.
oh, it's so playful. Um, but yeah, why would someone want to read my okay, well, the first thing that I'm feeling is the codes. There are
Mm,
within within the chapter, it's a vibration. It's a
yeah.
vibrational experience. Yes, I share story. Yes, I share my spiritual awakening. Yes, I share things I have gone through. And yes, I also share like guidance and insights into how each one of us can step more into our self-confidence and self-love, which came through
Yeah.
really strong in the chapter was like, okay, I also want to give like grounded guidance on how to implement and integrate this into one's life. So it's,
Hmm.
um, but I would say overall it's the codes.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
It's the
The color.
vibrational experience when I would say when one is to open even the book, there's codes just being shared through each of us. But I will say with my chapter, I can speak to my chapters. There's just a very
Yeah.
beautiful vibrational experience that one can tap into to access higher consciousness. Yeah.
Mm,
And
I
at the
love that.
end, channeled message had come through for the reader, so that was really cool as well.
Yeah, yeah, that was just the icing on the cake, and yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm finding myself like reading to get through like the book. Oh my God, like I got to get through the book, and and I'm thinking, no, actually, I want to just take my time, and just read it. So for that last part of your chapter, just to like take a moment and just to feel into that, be into with the words, like yeah, do the what sort of vibration do the words have when you read them? And I actually took the time to actually read it out loud and to feel the
Oh,
vibration
wow.
of the words and just be super present. How did they change me as it like, the frequency of how I'm feeling right now? And just allowing myself to be super sensitive to the words. And I found that that was really cool, super empowering to do that. Yeah, because had obviously, I'm going through and I'm reading and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm doing it more from like an analytical or a reader's
Like a
perspective.
editing. Yeah.
Yeah, rather than just like, let me just be with this section or just, that was a real gift. So I know reader, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I know the readers will as well. Just
Oh,
take that
thank
time because so often, there's a
you.
pace about things. It's beautiful reminder just to slow down and take our time. I know I have to do that during the day, and I know when the more that I just
Yeah.
take my time through things, days go quicker. And like not that I'm wanting to wish the day away, but just time flies when you're in the present moment. It really does, and when you're in alignment with yourself, I feel like that's just yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. Maybe I'll do
yeah.
that too. Maybe I'll read it out loud. I haven't
Okay,
done
yeah,
that, so
yeah,
that would be
cool.
really fun
Do
for
you have a
me.
copy with you? No, yeah. Okay, cool. It'd be great to read it out now. Do you have a
Oh,
copy of the book? I don't, yeah.
because I'm in Costa Rica right now, I haven't, that's what I'm also excited about is to get my hands on the
Yeah, you'll be getting in soon when you go back to so we sent it to an address in
California.
California, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have, I can pull up on my laptop here.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because maybe what's coming through is I can read. It's feeling like some light language is coming through.
I'm open to receiving some light language.
Okay. Yeah, I can feel the energies of that. And then
Okay.
the let me pull up the just a second.
Yeah, because it really is something to experience. I remember the first time I experienced light language, it was 2013. I believe it was around about March or April. And I bumped into a friend who was doing a retreat and they were teaching light language. I was like, oh my God, Athena. She was at my going away party before I left Australia to move to Bali. And then I bumped into her, like just how synchronistic. I didn't even know that she was there. And I just bumped into her at this restaurant and she came over. I was with some friends and colleagues. Well, then they were colleagues. Now they've become lifelong friends. And she came over, and I was like, "Oh my God! Like, da, 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 what are you doing here? I'm just learning light language." And would you like to? She goes, "Would you like to experience?" We all looked at each other. Yeah. And it was amazing, incredible experience. We just loved it. It was the highlight of our lunch. So
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling that excitement with I don't know if it's like the people that are going to be watching this, but I can
yeah,
feel between you and me of like,
yeah,
yes,
it's
yes.
so good. Really
So
cool.
yeah, so just for those that, again, who may not know what light language is, it's
Yeah.
basically communication of the soul. There's tones, with my light language, there are codes through my hands that come through.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, tones or sounds. Sometimes there can be like a word or a message, but really it's whatever wants to come through. Sometimes it can help to um unblock some stuck energy, or it can just allow you to tap more into the true essence of who you are. And yeah, it's a beautiful experience. You can have your eyes closed or open. You could be laying down. It's really your journey and your experience. So we'll just see what comes through, and then yeah, and then I'll read that last part of the chapter with that channeled message. out loud, which will
Cool.
be
I'm gonna close my eyes. I like to receive with my eyes closed.
yeah, let's do it. And me too, my eyes will be closed as well. And I will just start with a little bit of sound from one of my instruments that also is wanting to say hello. So I'll just bring her in to start us off. Yeah. So just taking a deep breath into the body. Ah, letting it go.
Funny.
Allowing your breath to just anchor you in this now moment. Feeling grounded, feeling your feet grounded wherever you are. And your breath anchoring in this beautiful vibration that is you. Maybe even a light, a color is entering in with each breath. Maybe it's a very bright light, vibrant hue, subtle. Which each breath, just feeling this nourishment from you, to your precious human, anchoring in. I am breathing in. I am breathing out, allowing your body to melt in to wherever you are. As you open your heart to receive these codes and whatever it is that you are asking to receive. Isha kanurai sikati ishikati nai kaya. Ilo na kia sakunai shakatunai ka osaka aina kai siku. Ina usha kanai siku. Isha unai. Usha inai. Usha inai sikunai. Una na 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 na. Izuz. 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 Na 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 na. Open your heart. Ishikatunai sakunai ka ushakati isikunai ka isikatunai ka sika usikat inak isikatu usikat isikatu ishikatunai isikatu ushikati ishikati isakai sikunakia. Ina unai kia ushakatina isakatia. Coming into balance, harmony. Ula unani ka isakia. Ishikatunai ka ushakanaya. Isanunai isakati inikia. Unai sakunai shikatiani kya. Ina unai sakatunaiya. Inai shikatunai sakai sakatunaiya. Ina ukatia shikatiai kasikia. Be here now. Ina ushakatinai sakatunai sakia. Unai kaya. Ushakaya. 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 Isakunaika. We love you. We love you. We love you. Blessings, dear one. We are so grateful to connect with you in this now moment. And we come to you with a vibrational message of great love and remembrance. You are pure love come into physical form to express yourself, your soul, your higher self in all its fullness, completeness, and absolute knowing of the truth of who you are. We know at times it can be perceivably challenging to remember the truth of who you are, but rest assured, all of the support is here on your journey to help you remember. Just as this now vibrational moment and the stories shared in this book have shown up to support you. To be an absolute love for self is to know oneself because pure love is who you are. This knowing is deep within your being and is always available for you. And your soul is continuously bringing experiences into your reality to help you remember this inner knowing. The confidence you seek within yourself is truly the love, the absolute love for yourself. This includes trusting yourself, appreciating yourself, believing in yourself, celebrating yourself, and honoring yourself. So, yes, dear one, loving yourself is the ultimate gateway to the confidence within. And the more you choose love for yourself, the more you can witness that love that you are, the more effortless your self confidence, appreciation, and belief in yourself will be available within you. We celebrate your journey in all its unfolding. Our great love and support for you is always here. And with the greatest amount of love, we ask, how are you choosing to love and celebrate yourself today?
Beautiful. That is, yeah. Wow. I just need to gather my thoughts. Yeah, wow. So much. I really, yeah, that was, I don't know, I actually don't have the words to say what I experienced, but I felt like the lightness, so much expansion. I felt like my aura expand further out than it normally does, and so much joy, laughter, happiness, and playfulness. Really cool. Yeah. And then just the last part was, yeah, really grounded that in. Feel like the two together were really nice cool. Voice. Yeah. Nice voice. Nice voice. Say to her, nice voice, and
Oh, I was hearing laughter.
yes,
It's
section with my boyfriend. It's your voice. Thank you.
wow, you're so, who is this lovely being? Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. So beautiful. Yes.
So sweet.
Yes. And yeah, it was really cool. Really cool.
Mm,
So yeah.
for me too. So like I
Yeah.
say, it's such a joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's for all of us too, is that when our soul can express in its natural, authentic way, it's just it brings us so much joy, you know? So
It does.
yeah.
Yeah. Was yeah. Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was amazing. It's been awesome connecting with you and chatting with you, and
Same.
I'm excited for those, yeah, that haven't read the book especially your chapter, for them to dive deep into that,
Yeah, me too.
and it's such a gift that just keeps on giving, and um, yeah, and even some reviews starting to come through, which is nice just to get feedback on what
Amazing.
people, thought of the book and what were some of their takeaways. And yeah, it's really nice to receive that. And yeah, so
Thank you,
good.
John.
Anything else that you want to share before?
I think what I feel right now is just a message for the readers.
Yes.
So I know there's, I don't know who's going to be watching this, but just putting it
Yeah.
out as an energetic blessing
Yes.
to, and even just to the whole collective, is that like, we see you, we know, we have been there in our own way, maybe not the same way, but we have been in those experiences where it may not have felt like, how can I get out of this? Or, what's the next step for me? Just to know that, like, there is a collective of us who have been there and have gone beyond it. And we love you. And
Mm.
we are cheering you on and supporting you and see you. We see the true you as you rise, as we all rise as one. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. That's a really good way to for people to ponder and a great lasting impression to take away from this interview, and no doubt, yeah, something along those lines of insightfulness as well from your chapter and everything that you do, and encourage people to reach out and experience or do a retreat, at very least, read your chapter in the book, and who knows where that may lead. And yeah, I really just honor and appreciate. It's been a privilege to collaborate with you and to publish this work and to publish your first, you know, essence, soul essence in a book. And so, yeah, it's so cool. And I'm glad that you,
Thank
yeah,
you
you
so
said
much.
yes to the experience.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
I,
'Cause
I
I
don't want
wasn't
to.
sure there for a
It's
bit.
funny. I like don't want to jump off because I'm like having so much fun. But I know. Yes, we'll connect. We'll connect soon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. Yeah, well, okay, well, yeah. So then if you would like to get more of these videos, please, like, comment, subscribe for this channel, and we'll put all the links down below where you can get in contact with Emily. So
Thank
peace,
you so
love, and
much.
mum beans.
Mm.